Today's video will continue our look in various years of Kane's career. Last video we looked at 1998 for the Big Red Machine. Kane had feuded with his brother The Undertaker, facing him at WrestleMania 14 to the first ever Inferno match at Unforgiven in Your House, winning the WWE Championship from Stone Cold Steve Austin at King of the Ring, as well as the Tag Team Championships with Mankind, before reuniting with The Undertaker to form the Brothers of Destruction. 1999 would prove to be an important year for the Devil's Favorite Demon, so let's get started.
For here, one must leave behind all hesitation. Here, every cowardice must meet its death.
On the first episode of Roy's War of 1999, Kane was scheduled to face Pat Patterson and Gerald Briscoe, the Stooges being punished for Mankind assaulting Shane McMahon on the night earlier at Sunday Night Heat. Kane defeated the two of them by call from Vince McMahon himself. Vince McMahon would order the Devil's Favorite Demon to face and defeat Mankind for the WWE Championship. Kane was close to defeating his former Tag Team Championship partner for the WWE title until The Rock interfered, giving Kane the victory by disqualification but allowing Mankind to retain the title. The following night on Roy's War, Commissioner Shawn Michaels organized Kane to face The Rock. Despite the owner of the WWE telling him to lay down and give The Rock the victory, a defiant Kane refused. The match went to a no contest when the corporation interfered on The Rock's behalf, until Mankind driven them out with a chair in hand. Kane would compete in the Royal Rumble match, eliminating the Road Dogg, Kurgan, The Godfather, and Goldust before being confronted by mental institution orderlies, as punishment for his defiance on the previous Roy's War episode. The Big Red Machine, however, pursued them through the crowd, eliminating himself from the Rumble in the process. Shane McMahon called out Kane after stating that Kane had begged for Vince McMahon's forgiveness. It could be assumed that Kane was blackmailed once again into doing Vince McMahon's bidding with the threat of being sent back to the mental institution. Shane told Kane to apologize publicly, even telling him to apologize while on his knee. X-Pac came out and offered Kane to join D-Generation X. Refusing to be sent back to the mental institution, Kane chokeslammed X-Pac. Later the night, Kane interfered in Triple H's I Quit match with The Rock for the WWE Championship, threatening to chokeslam Chyna should Triple H forfeit the match. Triple H gave up the chance to win the WWE title to save Chyna, but the Ninth Wonder of the World betrayed her longtime ally to join the corporation. This would set up a feud between Kane and Triple H as the two fought each other in a steel cage match the following week on Roy's War, Triple H gaining the victory thanks to the assistance of X-Pac. Chyna then challenged the both of them to face her and Kane to a tag match at St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Because of the interference of Shane McMahon, Kane and Chyna were able to defeat the D-Generation X duo. Meanwhile, The Undertaker had formed the Ministry of Darkness faction and waged war with Vince McMahon, intending to take over the WWE. Vince McMahon set up The Undertaker to face his brother Kane in the second Inferno match on Roy's War, with the Purity of Evil defeating Kane by setting his leg on fire. Furious by Kane's failure to burn his brother, the owner of the WWE fired the 7-foot monster from the corporation and intended to have him sent back to the mental institution. Kane and Chyna, however, eliminated the orderlies before Chyna convinced Vince McMahon to give Kane another chance by facing Stone Cold Steve Austin, with the threat of Chyna herself being fired from the corporation herself as well. The match went to a no contest when Paul White, who would soon be known as The Big Show, accidentally struck Kane with a boot to the face. A week later, Kane would attempt to blast Triple H with a fireball, much like his attempt with The Undertaker the year earlier. However, the Devil's Favorite Demon inadvertently struck Chyna instead. Kane tended to Chyna afterwards, as he carried her to backstage, apparently developed feelings for her. Triple H would call out Kane a week later, the segment ending up into a brawl with the two of them. Vince McMahon came out begging Kane for help with dealing with The Undertaker and the Ministry of Darkness. It turned out that The Undertaker himself was disguised as Kane, much like he did last year to earn a WWE Championship title shot, playing mind games with the owner of the WWE. Triple H would get some payback by disguising as Goldust a week later, blasting Kane with a flamethrower. Kane would face Triple H at WrestleMania 15. As the Big Red Machine was making his entrance, he was ambushed by someone dressed as the San Diego Chicken mascot. It turned out to be none other than number 14 of the Cincinnati Reds, Pete Rose, attempting to get revenge for the tombstone Kane gave him the year earlier in 1998. Unfortunately, the attack backfired as Kane delivered a tombstone piledriver to the former baseball player, making it 2 years in a row. Strike 2. How about it? Kane's match with Triple H began when the leader of D-Generation X delivered a low blow from behind. Chyna came out to ringside, grabbing a chair and asking Kane to let her hit Triple H with it. As Kane turned away, Chyna betrayed him by striking him with it instead, much to Kane's disbelief. Despite winning the match by disqualification, a heartbroken Kane was assaulted by Triple H, delivering multiple chair shots and a pedigree to the 7-foot monster. Triple H and Chyna embraced in a hug. It appeared that Chyna had rejoined D-Generation X. Unfortunately, the apparent return of Chyna to DX was a ruse when, during X-Pac's European Championship match with Shane McMahon, Chyna distracted the referee, allowing Triple H to commit the ultimate act of treachery to X-Pac, giving a pedigree to his former longtime friend, giving Shane McMahon the victory and joining the corporation. Just as Triple H, Chyna, and Test were assaulting X-Pac and the New Age Outlaws, a vengeful Kane came out and chased off the corporation. This would not only turn Triple H heel, but also turn Kane face, much like the Bret Hart Stone Cold Steve Austin double turn that happened at WrestleMania 13 in 1997. Kane would also quietly defect from the corporation, with Triple H taking his place. And now for a quick fun facts interval! This would mark the debut of Kane's 5th attire, the debut Mark IV attire. While the black stripe design is almost similar to the debut Mark III's, the design has subtle differences. For example, they are more angular, and the 5th stripe being much curved than the previous design. The designs on the tights, however, remain the same. Kane would also wear a new belt, or the same belt with smaller silver stars added between the larger ones. The debut Mark III attire, however, would be used for the Imposter Kane attire in 2006. Kane would attempt to get revenge on Triple H and Chyna the next night on Raw's War, the attempt foiled by a distraction from both Shane McMahon and Chyna, allowing Triple H to hit Kane with a chair, only for the Devil's Favorite Demon to sit up and pursue the former DX pair with the chair in hand. Kane would shift his attention to the Tag Team Championships, accepting Jeff Jarrett and Owen Hart's open challenge on the following Sunday Night Heat. Kane would win the handicap match by disqualification when Jeff Jarrett hit Kane with his guitar, to no effect. Just as the Tag Team Championships double-teamed Kane, X-Pac came out to the Big Red Machine's aid, only to receive a chokehold by Kane, suffering trust issues with having been betrayed time and again. The unlikely team of X-Pac and Kane would face the Tag Team Champions for the titles the following night on Raw's War, with Kane throwing X-Pac onto Jeff Jarrett, unknowingly giving X-Pac the winning pinfall, becoming the Tag Team Champions. The victims of Triple H and Chyna's treachery would defend the Tag Team Championships against Jeff Jarrett and Owen Hart, the New Age Outlaws, and even The Rock and Triple H, with X-Pac trying to reason with Kane, the 7-foot monster at times being untrusting of his Tag Team Championship partner. Kane would attempt to help X-Pac in his match with Triple H at Backlash, delivering a chokeslam to him and Chyna. Triple H would, however, defeat his former friend with a pedigree. X-Pac and Kane would have complications in trust the night later on Raw's War, when after defeating the Brood, Kane received a bloodbath by the trio. Angered, Kane mistook X-Pac for the bloodbath and chokeslammed him over the crowd railing. X-Pac would call out Kane later the night, only to be ambushed by Jeff Jarrett and Owen Hart. Kane would come out and fight off the former Tag Team Champions, before being confronted by X-Pac himself. Misunderstanding X-Pac's attempt to reason with him with an attack when X-Pac shoved him, Kane once again chokeslammed his partner. However, Kane realized his mistake and helped X-Pac to backstage. This would mark the beginning of Kane's character evolution. And now, for a quick fun facts interval! The April 18th episode of Sunday Night Heat would mark the debut of Kane's 4th mask, the debut Mark IV mask. The difference being the mask being larger, a second frown crease added close to the first, a smaller mouth hole, the mouth covering being much larger, and the black claw mark stripes being similar to the debut Mark I's. Kane would however wear the debut Mark III mask for the final time at the UK pay-per-view No Mercy, the mask having been worn to the point that the paint was losing color. D-Generation X would continue to fragment when Billy Gunn betrayed both X-Pac and New Age Outlaw partner Road Dogg. This would ire the wrath of Kane, the Devil's favorite demon chasing Billy Gunn on a number of episodes of Roar's War and Sunday Night Heat, even at the expense of other superstars, such as Billy Gunn's opponent Val Venus, even almost chokeslamming Road Dogg, until X-Pac convinced him to let his friend go. Kane would face Billy Gunn on the May 10th episode of Roar's War, the match ending in no contest when Billy Gunn had Kane's leg tied in the ring ropes, assaulting him until Road Dogg fought his former friend into the crowd, allowing X-Pac to try to help untie Kane from the ring ropes. Kane would face Mideon at the UK pay-per-view No Mercy, the 7-foot monster winning the match by disqualification when members of the corporate ministry interfered until X-Pac came out to Kane's aid. Kane would drive away the corporate ministry from assaulting X-Pac after losing a European Championship match with Shane McMahon later on. The tag team champions, along with other victims of the corporate ministry, would get their revenge, helping Stone Cold Steve Austin retain the WWE Championship in a triple threat match against The Undertaker and Triple H. X-Pac and Kane would lose the tag team championships to the Acolytes, Farouk and Bradshaw, thanks to the assistance of Shane McMahon. Shane would face X-Pac and Kane in a handicap match the week later, by order of newly appointed CEO Stone Cold Steve Austin, but would escape thanks to the Mean Street Posse, only for the latter to end up being destroyed by the former tag team champions. Kane would participate in the 1999 King of the Ring tournament, defeating Test to move on to the quarterfinals on the June 6th episode of Sunday Night Heat. The 7-foot monster would face the Big Show at the King of the Ring, where the world's largest athlete inadvertently knocked out the referee. Hardcore Holly, who Big Show had problems with before, came to the ring intending to hit him with a steel chair. Kane, however, grabbed the chair off Hardcore Holly before chokeslamming him after the self-proclaimed Big Shot disrespected the Devil's favorite demon. Kane would apply a chokehold onto the Big Show, but the world's largest athlete broke the hold. With the referee still down, Kane grabbed the steel chair and battered the Big Show with it, gaining the victory. The Big Show would return the favor by coming out during Kane's semi-final match, grabbing the chair from Billy Gunn before hitting Kane with it, giving Billy Gunn the victory, thus setting up a feud between the two. Time once again for another fun fact interval! This would mark the debut of Kane's 6th attire, the debut Mark V attire, or the mesh attire. The difference being the black claw mark strike design being jagged and more flame-like, with 4 patches of mesh inside the design. The laces that were featured on the left side of the attire since 1997 are gone, replaced with a regular smaller sleeve with styling of the silver studs like the debut Mark I's. The double zigzag design that was featured on the double-sleeved attire is used for the debut Mark V attire. Hardcore Holly would challenge Kane to a match the next night on Roar's War, with the intent of gaining revenge for the chokeslam Kane gave him at King of the Ring. The Big Show would interfere and deliver a chokeslam to the Big Red Machine, giving Hardcore Holly the victory. An enraged Kane would chokeslam the Big Shot 4 times after the match. The following night on Sunday Night Heat, Hardcore Holly would call out Kane once again, only to receive the 5th chokeslam of the week. The Big Show would come out with the intention of fighting Kane, but the world's largest athlete was thwarted by the arrival of The Undertaker, who Big Show had problems with in the past. It appeared as if the Brothers of Destruction were reunited once again, staring at a common enemy in the Big Show. X-Pac and Kane were scheduled to face the Big Show and Hardcore Holly, but X-Pac and the Road Dogg were arrested by the police due to a false report by Chyna and Billy Gunn, leaving Kane to fight alone. The Undertaker came out during the match, distracting the Big Show and allowing Kane to chokeslam Hardcore Holly, gaining the victory. The Brothers of Destruction assaulted the world's largest athlete before delivering a double suplex. As Kane headed for backstage, The Undertaker delivered a chair shot to the Big Show, busting him open. A message sent to his opponent, Stone Cold Steve Austin, who the Phenom would face for the WWE Championship in a First Blood match at Fully Loaded. The following week, Kane would somewhat play a role in the WWE Championship contract signing, his entrance music distracting Steve Austin, allowing The Undertaker to attack him from behind, busting him open before Vince McMahon signed the contract with the Rattlesnake's own blood. Later the night, X-Pac tried to reason with Kane that The Undertaker was manipulating him like he did before. Not wanting to do with whatever The Undertaker had planned, X-Pac gave Kane the choice between him and his brother. The two, along with Road Dogg, were ambushed by Triple H, Chyna, and Billy Gunn, before The Undertaker came out and driven off the trio, clotheslining Billy Gunn out of the ring before speaking to Kane that he won't make him choose, that he never asked him to choose. A conflicted Kane chose to side with The Undertaker, while The Big Show convinced Steve Austin to team up with him against the Brothers of Destruction. Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Big Show would defeat the Brothers, with the Rattlesnake giving Kane a stunner for the victory. And now for a quick fun facts interval! Kane would start wearing his debut Mark V mask on the July the 11th episode of Sunday Night Heat. The difference being a larger mouth hole, along with the nose hole being much larger than any of the previous masks. The second frown crease being smaller, more angular and moved away from the first, and the black claw mark stripes being similar to the debut Mark IV's. Kane actually debuted the debut Mark V mask on the May the 2nd episode of Raw is War. Kane would remain loyal to X-Pac despite his reunion with The Undertaker, coming to X-Pac's aid in the fight against Hardcore Holly and The Big Show on the following night on Sunday Night Heat, before joining hesitantly his brother on the ramp as the world's largest athlete delivered a chokeslam to X-Pac. The next night on Raw is War, X-Pac and Kane would face The Big Show and Hardcore Holly. During the match, The Undertaker came out chokeslamming X-Pac for no reason, before assisting Kane in taking down The Big Show and Hardcore Holly. Unaware of his brother's actions, the Devil's Favorite Demon attempted to help X-Pac. The Undertaker told his brother that his partnership with X-Pac was over, and planned to leave with Kane, before the replay showed his heinous attack. Infuriated with The Undertaker's unwarranted attack on his friend, Kane delivered a chokeslam to the purity of evil, choosing to side with X-Pac. The two embraced in a hug after X-Pac realized that Kane had made his decision, much to the anger of The Undertaker. Kane would face The Big Show at Fully Loaded, with Hardcore Holly being the special guest referee. The Big Show would defeat Kane in controversial fashion after Hardcore Holly foiled Kane's attempt to chokeslam the world's largest athlete, making a quick free count after The Big Show delivered a chokeslam to the Big Red Machine. X-Pac came out and delivered a spinning heel kick to Hardcore Holly as payback for screwing Kane, only for him and Kane to be assaulted by The Undertaker and The Big Show, surprisingly on the same page. X-Pac would get payback for The Undertaker's actions against him and Kane by interfering in the Dead Man's First Blood match with Steve Austin, allowing the Rattlesnake to bust him open and retain the WWE Championship. The next night on Raw is War, The Undertaker attacked X-Pac for costing him the WWE Championship, the assault going from backstage to the ring. Kane would come out to the aid of X-Pac, gaining the advantage against his brother. The Big Show would appear to assist The Undertaker in beating down Kane, before forming an alliance with the Lord of Darkness, turning the Big Show heel in the process. An emotionally distraught Kane cried in anguish that X-Pac had been brutalized by his brother, helping him to an ambulance. Kane would come out later, chokeslamming Farouk, Bradshaw, Edge, and Hardcore Holly before grabbing the microphone and saying, "You hurt Shawn, you hurt me. Undertaker, Big Show, tonight I'm gonna hurt you." The Undertaker and Big Show accepted Kane's challenge, facing the Devil's Favorite Demon in a handicap match. Kane won the match by disqualification after being hit with a chair by his brother. The Road Dogg attempted to come to Kane's aid, but was chokeslammed by the Big Show. X-Pac and Kane would face the Acolytes for the Tag Team Championships, winning the titles after X-Pac hit Farouk with an X-Factor. During the celebration, X-Pac grabbed a microphone and said if anyone wasn't down with him and Kane being the champions again, the 7-foot monster had 2 words for them. Just before Kane could speak, X-Pac grabbed the voice aid from Kane, stating that he didn't need it anymore. Kane would speak his first words without the aid of the voice box, the traditional D-Generation X catchphrase, "Suck it." X-Pac and Kane would defend the Tag Team Championships against The Undertaker and The Big Show at SummerSlam, losing the titles when the Purity of Evil delivered a Tombstone Piledriver to X-Pac for the victory. And now for a quick fun facts interval! This would mark the debut of Kane's inverted mask. The colors of the mask were swapped over as opposed to the previous masks, while the design is based on the debut Mark IV's, only with a smaller nose hole. The secondary frown crease is much longer in width. This would also mark the debut of Kane's inverted attire. Like the mask, the colors of the attire were swapped over as well. The design of the attire is the same as the debut Mark V's, the only difference being the left sling being much larger and the addition of smaller silver studs, much like the debut Mark III attires. The idea of an inverted attire had been introduced in PlayStation games WWE Warzone and Attitude as alternate attires, both for the debut and double sleeve attires. Kane would wear both the inverted mask and attire, along with the debut Mark V mask and debut Mark V attire on different occasions. Frustrated with being the weak link of the team, X-Pac asked Kane to not interfere in his match with Chris Jericho on SmackDown weeks after SummerSlam. The Big Show sought to chokeslam X-Pac until the Devil's Favorite Demon came out to X-Pac's aid, despite X-Pac asking to do otherwise. The next week on Raw is War, X-Pac refused to team with Kane against the Rock and Sock Connection for the tag team titles. WWE Champion Triple H offered to team up with Kane instead, but they wouldn't coexist. Triple H hit Kane from behind with a sledgehammer, giving the Rock and Sock Connection the victory. Kane would return the favor by chokeslamming Triple H, Chyna, and Shane McMahon at the end of the episode. The following SmackDown, X-Pac spoke to Kane that they were done as a team, as a result for Kane coming to X-Pac's aid the previous week, leaving the arena as Kane was seen backstage in tears. Kane would face Triple H later that night for the WWE Championship, the game winning the match thanks to the assistance of Chyna. Before Triple H could continue to assault Kane, The Undertaker and Big Show came out to the Big Red Machine's aid. It appeared as if the Brothers of Destruction and the Big Show were on the same page. Because of his problems with Triple H, Kane would be involved in the WWE Championship picture, competing in a fatal five-way match against The Rock, Mankind, Undertaker, and Big Show. The match ending in no contest when the competitors assaulted referees before being separated by many WWE superstars. Despite The Undertaker claiming that his reunion with Kane was official, the 7-foot monster cost him and the Big Show the tag team titles in their match against the Rock and Sock Connection the following week on Raw is War. The Undertaker would call out Kane later the night, stating that he was going to do what he should have done a long time ago. Kane would be assaulted by The Undertaker, Big Show, Median, and Viscera, the group intending to set him on fire until The Rock and Mankind came out to Kane's aid. Kane would compete against Triple H in an Inferno match on SmackDown later that week, The Undertaker paying his brother back for costing the tag titles by assaulting X-Pac. Kane tried to come to X-Pac's aid, delivering a flying clothesline to Median and Viscera outside the ring. Even though having his hand set on fire by Median and Viscera, the Devil's Favorite Demon was able to help X-Pac to backstage after the fire was put out, distraught by his brother's actions. The Undertaker would leave the arena later the night, refusing to compete during the show or any time in the future. On Sunday Night Heat before Unforgiven, Kane would state that Big Show would pay for The Undertaker's sins, the interview ending up with a standoff between Kane and Big Show. Kane would take part of the 6-man pack challenge against the Big Show, The Rock, Mankind, Triple H, and the British Bulldog for the WWE Championship, the match ending with Triple H hitting The Rock with a pedigree for the victory. X-Pac and Kane would reunite and face against various teams such as the Dudley Boys, the Acolytes, Median and Viscera, and the reunited New Age Outlaws. Kane would face the Big Show in a no disqualification match at the UK pay-per-view Rebellion, defeating him after hitting a body slam for the victory, ending their feud. X-Pac would continue to have self-doubts after being the target of assaults by Farouk and Bradshaw, with Kane coming to his aid. This would lead to all four of them to compete in a Four Corners match at the October pay-per-view No Mercy, X-Pac winning the match after hitting an X-Factor on Farouk. And now for a quick fun facts interval! No Mercy would mark the debut of Kane's second glove. Only a single row of superstars are noticeable on the glove instead of two. 2 weeks after No Mercy, it was speculated that Kane and Tori had formed a relationship. Triple H, X-Pac, and the New Age Outlaws would reunite D-Generation X, a reunion that left Kane riddled with questions. X-Pac explained to him on the following SmackDown that D-Generation X was a side thing, and that their friendship would remain unquestioned. X-Pac and Kane would face the Dudley Boys later that night. Right after X-Pac tagged in Kane, the one person Kane considered a friend committed the ultimate act of betrayal by low-blowing the Devil's Favorite Demon before delivering an X-Factor to him and giving the Dudley Boys the victory, thus turning X-Pac heel in the process. Before Kane could get retribution on his treacherous friend, D-Generation X ganged up on him. X-Pac grabbed the microphone, saying that he agreed with The Undertaker's previous comment that Kane was weak and not DX material, saying that he was sick of carrying him. Kane would get some revenge when he and The Rock assisted Stone Cold Steve Austin later the night, X-Pac getting a stunner and a chokeslam during the brawl. Kane would face X-Pac next week on Roar's War, winning by disqualification when D-Generation X interfered on X-Pac's behalf. Kane would team up with Steve Austin, The Rock, Shane McMahon, and Test on a number of occasions, losing the first Survivor Series tag team elimination match before winning the second. Kane would face his former tag team partner at Survivor Series, once again winning by disqualification due to D-Generation X interfering. Tori came to the ring to confront X-Pac, only to receive a spinning heel kick. D-Generation X fled from an angry Kane after the Big Red Machine saw his girlfriend being kicked. Whenever X-Pac meant to hit her unintentionally or not, is not known. Kane would have a short feud with Viscera, defeating the former Ministry of Darkness member with a chokeslam. The 7-foot monster would accept the Big Show's open challenge for the WWE Championship on the following Roar's War, intentionally getting himself counted out by assaulting Viscera after seeing him intimidating Tori, throwing him into the ring where he got body slammed by the Big Show. X-Pac would continue to infuriate his former tag team partner, costing Kane and the Big Show a match against Viscera and the Big Boss Man the week later, and getting Kane counted out during his match with Viscera the following SmackDown. Kane would get some retribution by chokeslamming Viscera before signifying to X-Pac that his fate will be the same as Viscera's. And now for a quick fun facts interval! The November the 15th episode of Roar's War would mark the debut of Kane's 8th attire. The debut marks 6th attire. The attire is the same design as the inverted attire, only with the collars swapped back. Like before, Kane would wear the debut Mark 6 attire along with the inverted attire on different occasions. Kane would face X-Pac at Armageddon in a steel cage match, where Kane could only win by pinfall, while X-Pac can win by either pinfall or escaping the cage. The New Age Outlaws got involved during the match, throwing in a steel chair and handcuffs, allowing their ally to handcuff Kane to the side of the cage. Tori prevented X-Pac from escaping, only to receive not only a spin in her face, but an X-Factor as well. As X-Pac attempted to escape the cage, Kane ripped off the handcuffs before preventing X-Pac from reaching the floor, throwing him back inside. The Devil's Favorite Demon would give X-Pac a flying clothesline from the top of the cage, a feat that not even The Undertaker had done before. Kane would gain the victory with a tombstone piledriver to X-Pac. Kane would face the Big Show for the WWE Championship, but with a stipulation being if Kane were to lose, Tori would have to spend Christmas with X-Pac. The Big Show was able to retain the title, thanks to the distraction by the New Age Outlaws. Tori would return the next week on Roar's War, as Kane would compete on the final SmackDown of 1999 in a no disqualification match against The Rock, losing after The Rock delivered a rock bottom to him on a steel chair. And that was our look at 1999 for Kane. I hope you enjoyed watching this video as I did making it. On the next episode, we'll be looking at the year 2000 for the Big Red Machine. From his feud with X-Pac, pursuing the WWE Championship with The Rock and The Undertaker, and his feud with Chris Jericho. Thanks again, and see you next time.